All right, here we go.
Wait for the drum fill.
So the first thing that comes to mind for me with this is we wrote this song and Someday
Yeah, same
on the
day.
very first day we ever worked with Jim Valance.
Within 40 minutes of meeting Jim.
Yeah. Took us to the house, asked us he picked us up at the airport and he said, what are you guys listening to these days?
Yeah.
And we told him Tears for Fears was one of them.
That's how we get the shuffle.
But we were actually thinking Shout.
Yeah.
Let it
Or
all
and
out.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
And he put Everybody Wants to Rule the World and he went, Shuffle.
Shuffle, yeah. And I remember him saying, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah.
It's like it's time for another shuffle.
Right.
And I think so. It's like he went down his checklist.
And you've got, and I think you put it on the Greatest Hits package, you've got some original writing.
One of the things that Jim did,
Recordings of
it was cassette tape back in the day, but when you're sitting in a writing situation, in the background you just have a live mic in the room, and that was normal to the cassette deck so that it would just capture everything that's going on. It wasn't anything more than sometimes you'd be writing a song and then you take a left turn and an hour later you go, what we were doing an hour ago was way cooler. Right. So then you'd be able to go back to the cassette tape, hit rewind, go an hour ago we were doing this and we were grooving on it, now we've lost the plot. So Jim used to just capture the whole day and we would just put another blank in. So at the end of the session, me being the pack rat, I put them all in my pocket, of course, and then transfer them all. So you hear the actual writing as it happened in real time. I've condensed it, so to like 2 minutes.
People have asked me, did I know it was a hit? And of course, you're never really sure what a hit is, but I always remember a listening session. Derek Sutton was with us, and we were in the studio in Vancouver. I think it was just you and I representing the band, but we did a playback, and I heard the harmony that I did that sounded very much like the Isley Brothers.
I remember that, yeah.
And that was a moment when I went,
Derek reacted to that.
Yeah, something that.
Yeah, that's the high harmony on it. Yeah.
And that Isley Brothers thing for me just sort of said, this is special.
I remember turning to Valance because we have had no concept of first album, I don't know what a hit is, and watching Jim's face because he's had all these mega hits, and I remember trying to read his face whether it was good or not, and then I remember sitting in the car driving across, I think it was Lion and he's like snapping his fingers as he's driving, and I said, Jim, is it good? He goes, yeah, it's good.
Everybody always wants to make a big deal out of Bryan Adams singing on it, thinking it was some big industry thing.
Yeah.
When it was actually just a couple of drunk guys over Heineken's, right? Brian
was in for the
tabs
Junos
on,
or something, right?
Yeah, he kept tabs on Jim. What was going on? How you doing? And he showed up at the studio that night because he was in for the Junos. And Jim maybe contrived it. I don't know, but Brian and I scudded about 4 or 5 Heinekens, probably you. And then Jim just quietly said, when are you guys going to sing a couple of songs together? Right. Of course, that loosened Brian up, and I was like, yeah, come on. And we just kind of did that.
There you go, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, and the young boy from Newmarket that played him in the video, he got laid because of that.
I hope he was a man by the time.
No, but I met him years ago, like he's all growing up in that, right? He's like famous over that, right? Because he sang the Bryan Adams part.
Oh, I'll say really for that visual. But anyway, I think we were all disappointed it never went to number 1 in America because we know it should have, and we know the reasons why it didn't. But Bob Lefsetz called it a classic pop hit.
Yeah, that was.
We used that quote.
Nice compliment from him.
Thanks, Bob.
Awesome.
Played it for probably 10 years before we recorded it. We actually were on our 4th album, and we were one song short.